one of the things that you've clearly used to overcome this is changing your appearance. You've kind of, you've physically changed, haven't you? The photographs of you, if I look at them.
No, it's called adolescence. It's called growing and changing.
Yeah, but even the shape of your face has changed.
No, it has not. I've had no plastic surgery on my face, just my nose. It helped me breathe better so I can hit higher notes.
All right, Chase, what do you got?
We see some immediate pre-swallow behavior here as soon as the subject of the question comes out, which is a stress indicator. I think it's odd that when almost anyone would use a left to right timeline when talking about growing up, he goes right to left. I've never seen this in 20 years. Maybe you guys have. But I think that might be a glimpse into how he's viewing aging or his desire to age on a timeline, kind of going backwards. And his hand's kind of waving away the accusation. You can see it down towards the bottom of your screen. But he is a professional dancer from a very young age. So I think that might be well within his baseline. It's in many of his other videos. His blink rate is 13 throughout the video until the man mentions shape of your face, and the blink rate goes from 13 to 74 during this denial. And somebody with this much cosmetic stuff kind of going on with their face, their blink rate and word choice might just be all you really have to go on. I'll pass it to you, Greg.
Yeah, so for me, I look at him. He starts off with a downright and a deep swallow, and his chin is down just a touch. There's some baggage already between him and Martin Bashir, I think, by this point of the interview. He's going at him. If you go watch the special, this is late when he's going after some issues, and you can see that hard eye contact. And I'm with you, Chase. His skin around his face is like a cloth. It's just loose. I mean, it's there. Everything's tucked. Everything's tight. I think he's in his 40s here, give or take. And there are no lines or any of that kind of thing. There's a ton of other stuff going on with him here. This is, okay, we know he's not telling the truth based on autopsy. They found cuts behind his ears or scars behind his ears on both sides of his nose. So he had something else done. So if he's saying, no, I haven't had anything done, it's just aging, then we know it's not true. So we're starting to get a baseline for what he looks like when he's being deceptive. I would also say this guy is a master of illusion, for lack of a better term. He's great at redirects with his hands and with his body. That whole moonwalk thing that it looks like he's floating is him. He's masterful at movement. So the hand is not an accident with him, I think, Chase. I think you're dead on. It's just something he does. And he is masterful at the way he communicates and creating an image. And that's all you're seeing here is the image that he's created. And when he says out loud, well, it's just puberty. Well, I've been watching you since before puberty, after puberty, and way, way after puberty, and I've seen changes. That's what I would have said to him and put him back on the hot seat. But you don't see that in Martin Bashir. And it's not like Martin Bashir is afraid to be aggressive and nasty, so I'm surprised he didn't go there. Mark, what do you got?
Yeah, so Bashir loads the question, really. He frames it with the idea of control of the body as a coping mechanism. He says you've had to control your body as a way of coping. And my guess is it's loaded on purpose in order to trigger Jackson into something a little more aggressive, which I think it does. Absolutely agree. We're dealing here with one of the biggest stars in the world, somebody who, and one of the greatest controllers of movement in the world, one of the most brilliant dancers ever. So we've got to expect this is somebody who can control the body mass there, certainly. So we get this emphatic wipe gesture, which is what I would call a moderator gesture. It's there to say, hey, we're done with that. We're wiping that clean. We're never going there again. It's big. It's an emphatic one. No plastic surgery. Very emphatic. No plastic surgery. Just my nose. So there's a qualifier there. But it's great how that works, isn't it? You start with an absolutely emphatic denial, and then you put a little qualifier on the end that absolutely changes the emphatic nature of the denial. What I want to pick up on here, which I think is really interesting, is you see his fingers, and he's got three bandages on them. This was something he did as well as having white socks or wearing gloves or shooting his cuffs, so that you'd be able to see his movement on stage. It's something he picked up from Gene Kelly, other great dancers of Hollywood, ways of being able to see the body move on stage. And apparently he put these white bandages on his fingers as well, so you'd be able to see those move. But why is he wearing them in an interview? So we don't need to see his fingers move. He's not on a big stage anymore. What's interesting in my mind is these become symbolic of damage already. It's like a child going, look at the boo-boos that I have. Look, I'm injured here. So I'm just picking up on that imagery there that doesn't need, or these are devices, these are stage devices, but now I think they've become an image of hurt and pain. Is that something he wears all the time to display? Is that something to get our sympathy with him? Not sure at this point, just interests me. Scott, what do you got?
All right. Well, I think he's ready for this question. Obviously, he would be, because he knew they were going to talk about this. So he's talked with his lawyers. He's talked with whoever he consults with to say, how do I approach this? Because he's one of those guys. He wants to make sure he controls everything that comes out about him, from the way he sounds, the way he looks, and just everything you were saying, Mark, everything. So what we're seeing here when he starts asking the questions, you're right, Chase, his blink rate goes to almost nothing. And he gets really still and he just stares at him as he's talking, because he's taking this in, and he doesn't know the exact question. He knows the question's coming, but how's it going to be shaped? How's it going to be formed? So he's learning that as it comes in. And then when he starts asking, his mouth opens a little bit, up, like he's ready, like he's going to jump the gun, but he doesn't. He holds back, I think. That's what that looks like. I can't really tell if that was just something that happened as a reaction, a limbic reaction, or it was just getting ready to start talking. Then we see his head go back when he starts before he answers. His head starts going back in that dominance gesture, saying, I'm getting ready to give you the answer. Here's what's really happening. So his head goes back and he exposes that throat. Then he talks about I'm growing, that the changes you're seeing came from growing and changing. And he starts using his illustrators for those types of things. And those really, they're not hitting hard on the words where they should. I know I always talk about that, but they're not hitting where they should be hitting. And actually, in a few minutes, we see him give an extra one when he gives that and then does one extra. That indicates that he's not sure about that, because he knows it's not true. He knows that those things have changed since he was a child. If you look at when he was a child, you look at when he turned into the Michael Jackson everybody knew, you couldn't say that's him. You couldn't put those two together. You couldn't say, if that was his kid, you wouldn't say, wow, he looks like his dad. He looks nothing like he would look nothing like him. He looks nothing like he used to look. And then, when he wipes away that thing about when he asks him, your face has changed, and he wipes away that question. You'll see that a lot with people who are telling stories about seeing a ghost that you knew wasn't true, or it probably isn't true, because they'll say, oh, here's what happened. I did this and this and this, and that happened. And they'll wipe away what they just said. And in this case, he's wiping away that question, almost to get rid of it. We're getting rid of that. We're not going to do, here's the answer. Forget that. I'm going to give you the answer. And when he points to his nose, when he says he's making a big production about this, and like Mark was saying, it's almost like a chaff and one of Greg's things, chaff and redirect. What do you call it? A Hartleyism, where it's chaff and redirect. He says he does the big thing, and I can talk about noses. One of my things is mine's so big. I should get some of that done, maybe. But he points at his nose like in a big way, make a big deal about it, then moves to the other stuff. So this, I would say, is for me, I'm seeing tons of deception here. Tons of deception. And if you'll notice, you'll listen to the volume of things, it's quieter as he goes along. Fading facts is what I was ahead to. And then sometimes we do see his eyebrows go up as he's nodding, and another Hartleyism, requesting approval. So that's that's what I'm seeing in there.
One of the things that you've clearly used to overcome this is changing your appearance. You've kind of, you've physically changed, haven't you? The photographs of you, if I look at them.
No, it's called adolescence. It's called growing and changing.
Yeah, but even the shape of your face has changed.
No, it has not. I've had no plastic surgery on my face, just my nose. It helped me breathe better so I can hit higher notes.
If you like this video, get the full body language breakdown and analysis on our main channel by clicking this video right here.